Hello children, myself Divya Sharma from Shivjyoti Education Group Kota. Children, in the previous video, we have discussed chapter number 20, Gandhiji leads the nation. In part 1, I did the explanation of the chapter and we discussed the internal questions. Now today in part 2, I will be discussing the book work and the copy work. But before that, just have a quick recapitulation of the points which were covered in the chapter. Gandhiji's contribution to the freedom struggle, the Rowlatt Acts and the Jallianwala Bagh massacre, the non-cooperation movement, the civil disobedience movement, the Simon Commission and the demand for Puna Swaraj, World War II and the Quit India movement, Subhash Chandra Bose and the Indian National Army, and finally India becomes free. These were the topics which are being covered in your chapter, and please again you go through the chapter reading and just complete your book work and copy work. Now I will be discussing the book and the copy work with you all. Let's start with the book work, children. Exercise A, fill in the blanks. Gandhiji gave the name Harijans to the untouchables. As these people were not considered good, so he gave the name Harijans instead of calling them untouchables. Gandhiji launched the Satyagraha movement in India to oppose the Rowlatt Acts. Now, why was the Satyagraha movement launched by Gandhiji? It was against the opposition of the Rowlatt Acts, wherein any person could be arrested without any trial. The British under General Dyer massacred thousands of unarmed Indians gathered at Jallianwala Bagh in Amritsar. As we have learned that Jallianwala Bagh massacre took place in the year 1919, and on the orders of General Dyer, the British soldiers fired for 10 minutes. They did open firing at the crowd. Indians protested against the Simon Commission as there was no Indian in it. Now, why were the Indians angry with the Simon Commission? Because there was no Indian included in the Simon Commission. In the 1929 session of the Congress demanded Puna Swaraj from the British. I told you Puna Swaraj means complete independence, and it was demanded in the year 1929. The civil disobedience movement was launched with the Dandi March. To break the salt law, the civil disobedience was launched by Gandhiji. The Quit India movement was launched while World War II was going on. At the time of World War II, the Quit India movement was launched, that means to completely throw out the British rule. The Indian National Army was formed by Subhash Chandra Bose. He organized an army of 40,000 men from Japan, which he named as the Indian National Army. Now we will discuss question number C, that is match the incidents with the years in which they happened. Simon Commission, year 1928. Jallianwala Bagh massacre took place on 13th April 1919. Rowlatt Act, it was passed in the year 1919. Civil disobedience movement was launched in the year 1930. Government of India Act was passed in the year 1935. Quit India movement 1942. World War II ends in the year 1945. India gets independence in the year 1947, and Puna Swaraj, it was demanded in the year 1929. Now, multiple choice questions. Gandhiji gave the name Harijans to, D is the correct answer, people who were regarded as untouchables. Second, Satyagraha means non-violent protest against an injustice. So, C is the correct option. Third, to protest against which of these did Gandhiji undertake the Dandi March? Against the salt laws, which was passed by the British. Fourth one, the Quit India movement was launched in, D is the correct option, 1942 after the failure of talks between the Congress and the British during World War II. Now fifth one, which of these leaders was in favor of the partition of India into two nations? The correct answer is Muhammad Ali Jinnah. He wanted that India should be divided into two nations, Pakistan and India. Okay, now we'll move ahead with the copywork. Answer the following questions. Question number 1 is, what did Gandhiji do as soon as he came back to India? After coming back to India, Gandhiji worked to remove evil practices from Indian society and to unify the people of India. We learned that after coming back to India in the year 1915, when he saw the condition of India was very poor because of the evil practices which were being followed, like we read child marriage, killing of female babies, sati pratha. So he wanted to remove these evil practices and to work for the Indian society and to unify the people of India. Why did Gandhiji protest against the Rowlatt Acts? The Rowlatt Acts were laws under which anyone could be arrested without a trial. Gandhiji was against these acts as they were unjust to the people. Now, Rowlatt Act, which was passed in the year 1919 by the British, it was that anyone could be arrested without a trial, but Gandhiji was against this act as he felt that no one could be arrested just for suspicious beliefs. After which incident did Gandhiji launch the non-cooperation movement? The Jallianwala Bagh massacre and Rowlatt Act convinced Gandhiji to launch the non-cooperation movement. When Jallianwala Bagh massacre took place and the Rowlatt Act, which was passed by the British, it convinced Gandhiji to launch the non-cooperation movement. Question number 4 is, why did Gandhiji call off the non-cooperation movement? The non-cooperation movement in Uttar Pradesh became violent when some people set fire to a police station and 22 policemen were killed. This act of violence brought about the failure of the non-cooperation movement and had to call it off. As we learned that Gandhiji believed in following the principles of non-violence and satyagraha. So when non-cooperation movement in Uttar Pradesh became violent, wherein people set fire to a police station and 22 policemen were killed, and seeing this violence, he said that this way we can't achieve independence, and then he called off the movement at that moment only. When did the Congress demand Puna Swaraj? What did this mean? Puna Swaraj, I told you, it means complete independence. The British created a committee to make changes in the way India was governed, called the Simon Commission. But no Indian was there in the commission. This angered the Indians and the Congress decided to demand Puna Swaraj. Puna Swaraj means complete independence from British rule. Now, when Simon Commission was formed, there was no Indian included in the commission, which angered the Indians, and the Congress at that time demanded Puna Swaraj, which means complete independence from the British rule. Question 6 is, what was the civil disobedience movement? Gandhiji in 1930 launched civil disobedience movement against salt law passed by the British, which forbade Indians from making salt. As you have read in the chapter that in the year 1930, a civil disobedience movement was launched with the breaking of the salt law, which was passed by the British, wherein the Indians were being stopped from making salt. Question number 7. India became independent, but Gandhiji's dream was shattered. Why? Although India became independent, it was partitioned into India and Pakistan. Gandhiji did not want the partition of India, so he was heartbroken. Now, we got independence. India got independent, but it was partitioned into India and Pakistan, and Gandhiji did not wanted this partition, so he was heartbroken. He was very sad and his dreams were shattered. What did the civil disobedience movement achieve? Gandhiji decided to start the civil disobedience movement by breaking the unjust salt law. He organized a peaceful march from the Sabarmati ashram to Dandi on the seashore. This brought a large number of Indians together against British. Now, civil disobedience was started to break the salt law, wherein Gandhiji organized a peaceful march from Sabarmati ashram to Dandi on the seashore, where he was joined by a large number of people, and they started making salt. Now, question number 9 is, what role did Subhash Chandra Bose play in the freedom struggle? Subhash Chandra Bose was president of the Indian National Congress. He went to Japan, from where he organized an army. He called it Azad Hind Fauj. The Indian National Army fought against the British on the northeast border of India. Now, Subhash Chandra Bose was the president of Indian National Army, and he went to Japan, from where he organized an army which he called the Azad Hind Fauj, and then they fought against the British on the northeast border of India. So, this was all about the book work and the copy work, children. Do it very neatly. Thank you.